Last time on Varrick World, we picked back up with Grandma Halmeoni in the spirit world speaking with Iroh, who encouraged her to delve into her memories with the help of some ginkgo biloba leaves. We discovered what it was that Grandma Halmeoni had done all those months ago that caused her to be evicted from the spirit world. Turns out, she helped Tokuga free some very bad people from the fog of lost souls, and Iroh looks at this situation and realizes it's not your fault, it's Tokuga's fault. So he's going to be lobbying for Grandma Halmeoni back in the spirit world, and Grandma Halmeoni went back to the physical world to share this information with her friends. And in the midst of trying to absorb all this information, Kimiko reminded Marion that it was time to go do their actual job at Varrick World because they are employed. Let's keep that in mind, our characters are employed. And they went over to the racetrack where Marion got into a bit of a spat with the boss of the racetrack, buried him up to his waist, but paid him off with lots of money. Chen needed to go to the bathroom really, really bad, and he did that and eventually decided to go around as Spider-Batman and protect the place, take a day off of work. But at the racetrack where Kimiko was working on turning the pace car into a remote-controlled car, we left off with her realizing that she no longer had control over the pace car and that it was being controlled by someone else. Someone had hijacked the pace car. What's going to happen next? Let's find out here in the world of Varrick World. What's shaking, everybody? You're listening to Imp Tab Avatar, Varrick World, the Avatar Legends actual play where we make up almost everything on the spot. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and today I'm joined by...
Connor Wood. I hit my funny bone when we started recording. Can someone call my mom and ask her to come pick me up?
Sure.
Justin Porter, a.k.a. JP, and I haven't been able to breathe since last episode.
Oh.
It's on the edge of my seat.
And Thomas Ryan, I do commissions of MS Paint artwork. It's $100 for a 5x5.
It's worth it, trust me.
Mm-hmm. It will be worth my money.
Yep.
Yeah, we now have some artwork of Spider-Batman's insignia, and it's perfect and wonderful and great and everything you could expect from an MS Paint illustration.
I'm gonna put it in the main patron Discord
Heck
right
yeah.
now, and
Do
then
it.
the context will arrive in a few weeks.
Indeed. Well, we've got some high adrenaline, high octane action happening right now, so we're going to cut back over to the racetrack where Kimiko is desperately trying to regain control of the remote control pace car, but no matter what she does with the control unit, the pace car does not respond. So she turns to you, Marion, and says, I had all of my schematics in the back of that car. I had some very secret, very important projects I was working on that are in the back of that car right now. We need to go catch it. We need to go stop it.
Okay, let's do that and also reassess where we keep our important documents. I'm gonna metal bend the car to try and stop it.
Yeah, as you're doing that, she's like, yes, I'll make sure that I keep all of my documents out of folders labeled top secret project.
Well, you know what? All right, I'm metal bending. We'll talk later.
All right.
I got an 11.
Cool, yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to test out a new sort of way of handling progress clocks that I picked up from a game called Grimwild.
Cool.
So this is very similar to clocks. Like, in this situation, I might create an 8 clock for the task of stopping the runaway car, and then a 6 clock as the fail state of you guys losing the runaway car. The way that Grimwild handles this instead is with diminishing dice pools.
Ooh.
So instead of making an 8 clock for the task of stopping the car, I have a pool of 8d6s that I'm going to roll. Because you got a full success, I'm going to roll just their pool. If you'd gotten a partial success, I would have rolled their pool and your pool. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to roll right now this pool of 8d6s. And any dice that show a 1, 2, or 3, I'm going to remove from this dice pool. And when it reaches 0 dice, you have succeeded.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it's very similar to progress clocks, but it's more dynamic. There's a bit more chance and swinginess to it. So
Yeah.
I just want to test out how this works.
No, that's awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah, so I am removing 3 of the dice from this 8 pool. So now there are only 5 dice left in their pool, and there are 6 left in yours.
Cool.
So what do you attempt to do with your metal bending to try and stop this runaway car?
So I am going to try and I think I know where she put the control box that's communicating what we want the remote to be controlling. I'm gonna try and remove that and slam on the brake.
All right. So you reach out. It's getting pretty far away by this point.
Yeah.
And you're able to slam on the brake, but as you try and remove that gearbox, the car starts spinning. It starts like skidding out, and you're not able to get a firm grasp on that control box. But it's given you enough time for Kimiko to run over into the other pace car that you were working on, and she turns the keys, gets it in gear, and says, "Hop in, nerd. We're going on a car chase."
That's awesome. That's an awesome thing to say, Kimiko. I hop in, like, enthusiastically.
And so you hop in, and she starts peeling out after this car, so you're starting to gain on it. So, again, there are only 5 dice left in the escape pool, and you still have 6 dice left in your fail state pool. So you're looking pretty good. But yeah, as you're no longer able to hold on to the brake, the pace car releases itself from your grip, and it hits a pile of boards that were on the side of the racetrack, and it leaps out of the racetrack into the streets of Varrick World and starts peeling off in a different direction. And Kimiko's like, okay, hang on. And she pushes the gas directly towards the ramp, and she hits it and just goes leaping up into the air, chasing after this car. So you're both now in the streets of Varrick World, chasing after this runaway car. Patrons are screaming and jumping out of the way. There are a number of patrons, though, who are very excited by this display. They think this is just another cool, crazy thing that Varrick is doing here in the park.
All part of the show. I'm going to, if I may, earthbend, not the vehicle, but I'm going to try and create like a pillar down the line and just get some people out of the road.
Yeah.
So we can hopefully gun it without worrying so much about them.
That sounds like a good plan. Let's rely on your skills and training for that one.
Hoorah! 2d6, 4, 5 plus 2, 11. All
11,
right.
another full success. So I'm going to once again roll their pool, and we're going to remove 3 dice from that pool, so they only have 2 left.
Booyah.
Now, at this point, Chen, you hear screaming, like from your perch high up above Varrick World. You hear screaming coming from down below, and you look to see what's going on, and you see 2 cars having a car chase, and you look in the second car, and you see your coworker Marion and your girlfriend Kimiko in this car chasing the runaway car.
Oh man, this is the first time I heard an explosion over there. I thought that was a coincidence, but now this is not a coincidence. I have to go help them.
So yeah, what would you like to do?
I guess I want to bust out I don't know if we called the wings anything, but I want to bust them out and like fly over there.
All right, let's. I'm going to roll to see how well your glider suit is doing today. That is a partial success on that one. So let's have you rely on your skills and training to try and see how well you can do, and I'll keep that partial success in mind.
9?
9. So that's a partial success as you are trying to get in close. So what's going to happen is first, I'm going to roll the fail state pool for you guys. You're able to manage to land in the back of the car along with Kimiko and Marion as they're. Well, I guess which car would you be aiming for?
I want to get the one that Kimiko and Marion are in.
All right. So yeah, you're able to land in the back of that car, but the sudden extra weight Kimiko is not accounting for. So I'm going to roll your pool. Okay, we're going to remove 3 dice from the fail state pool, and Kimiko looks back to see what just happened and sees you, and she screams, "Spider Batman!" and kind of swoons a little bit at your appearance, and the car swerves a little bit. But Marion, you're able to grab the wheel and pull it back into the right orientation.
Eyes on the road, Kimiko.
Yeah, and you just barely managed to not sideswipe Slim as he's buying yet another order of Gimbop from the stand.
I have that effect on women.
Yeah, so that is from the partial success on your glider suit. Now the partial success that you got on your action to try and stop these guys. Because that was a partial success, I'm going to roll both of the pools, and I'm going to start with the stop the chase pool, and that is 2 3s, so I remove both of those. You've completely depleted their dice pool, and I'm going to roll yours real quick just to see how that goes. Remove only 1. So your car is still doing fine at this point. What does it look like as you do stop this runaway car, because you've completely depleted their pool?
I want to use my flip whips and try to get the other car, see if I can stop it.
Yeah. So you lean up over Marion and Kimiko in the front seat, and you shoot 1 flip grip towards either of the back wheels of the automobile in front of you, and you manage to grab it, and you start pulling and pulling, and we start to get almost like that from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films where Peter Parker's stopping the train and you see like the suit is starting to tear and pull across the skin.
Just on the biceps though. Just on the biceps that they're popping.
You are pulling as hard as you can and the fabric is starting to tear a little bit. And Kimiko, as she's driving, looks up and sees your biceps starting to get exposed from underneath the suit. And she starts to swoon a little bit, but Marion, you're able to grab the wheel to keep you going straight on a proper course. And you just continue pulling, and Chen, you're just like hand over hand pulling your car closer to the runaway car, giving you like a little extra speed boost until finally that car is like bumper to bumper with yours almost. What is the final thing you would like to do to stop this runaway car?
Well, I don't know if assess the situation is right, but I want to see if I can how they're controlling it, like where my question is how I can stop the control.
Yeah, roll to assess the situation.
8.
All right, so you get 1 question from the list.
What here can I use to stop the transmission between the remote control and the car?
Yeah, so the easiest thing to do would be to destroy the control box, the radio receiver box that is attached to, like, you can see there are gears and belts and whatnot attached to the steering wheel, some pistons attached to the pedals, and they're all going back into this one central radio transmitter box.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, if I can just destroy that thing, this will stop the car in front of us entirely.
All right, so I jump into that car and I just punch it.
You rear back your burly fist and smash it right into the center, and there's this electric shocking noise, and you can feel your hair like standing up on end underneath your hood that you're wearing. You're not going to take any fatigue or whatnot from it, but you feel the car starting to slow down until finally it manages to come to a stop in the middle of the road. And you pull your fist out and there's a little bit of smoke coming off of it, but you hear people starting to clap and cheer. Spider-Batman has saved the day.
Hurrah!
I want to step out of the car, but because it's like it's got no roof on it, right? So I'm gonna try to step over the door, but I feel like I would trip over it a little bit and just like kind of like not as smooth as I thought I would be, and then get back up and start waving to the crowd.
Yeah.
And then immediately go to Marion and Kimiko to see if they're okay.
Yeah. We'll do a couple things here real quick. Marion, you are in the other pace car, and Kimiko, as you stop, she's looking around frantically at the tops of all the buildings, and she's like, whoever was controlling that car had to have been close enough. They must be in like an elevated enough position to be able to see it, to get the radio transmission through. I hope we can find them. And she's just like scanning the tops of the buildings trying to find this person.
Yeah, I'm going to use Earth Sense or Seismic Sense. I don't quite remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and just close my eyes, shut off my senses, and just sort of feel around, see if there's anything indicative of a saboteur.
All right, roll to assess the situation.
Okay, and what stat do I add there? Is that creativity?
That it is.
Cool. Oh, okay, a 10.
All right, so you get 2 questions from the list.
Okay, I am going to go with who or what is the biggest threat, and what should I be on the lookout for?
Yeah. You peer out with your seismic sense, and you're looking for like, okay, what are the tallest structures in Varrick world? And you start peering through them one at a time until eventually you find one particular structure, and at the top of it, you are able to find a person, and you can tell that they are very agitated by the movements that they're making, and you feel them drop something, like they slam it onto the floor of this tower, and you feel it shatter underneath the weight of itself. And this figure walks over to the edge of the tower and puts on a backpack sort of thing. And from the backpack, you are able to detect emerging 5 mechanical arms that grip onto the sides of the tower and start lowering the figure down to the street.
Oh, shoot. Hey, Spider-Batman, do you want to get a better vantage point? I have an idea.
Yeah, shoot.
Okay. I'm going to use just a pillar of earth to launch Spider-Batman into the sky. Say, you assess the situation, because I don't want to like point to her, but I also don't want to let this go because people could have been hurt, and I wasn't privy to this. So anyway,
Yeah.
So I launch in the sky, not knowing that was his plan.
Yeah.
So first I'm like, what?
luckily you're an adaptive spider bat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so in the middle of the air, after I recollect myself, I then shoot out my glider suit.
All right, yeah. Now let's have you also assess the situation to try and see what it is that Marion is directing you towards.
All right, come on, dice. Do not give me that number. All right, 8.
All right, so you get one question from the list.
Who should I be on the lookout for?
Yeah, you look off towards the tallest structure. It is kind of this radio tower, and crawling down the side of the tower on the outside of it is Professor Ishitako, Professor Pentapus.
Professor Pentapus. And then I immediately aim to that direction.
All right.
And as I'm aiming, I'm like, monologue out loud, probably should bring this up with Marion someday that I need something to like actually, like jet me to where I want to go instead of just hope that I go that way.
From the ground you hear, the glider's fine! You'll glide and you'll like it.
It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
I'm just like, sorry, I'm ungrateful.
So you start flying off in that direction. Real quick, Grandma Halmeoni, what do you think you've been doing this entire time?
Just lounging, having a good time. Everything's going good for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been brainstorming some ways to make the robo suit a little stronger. I imagine I'm going to have to knock some heads eventually. That's it, just kind of lounging.
Yeah, just having a perfectly casual time.
Yeah.
We real quick cut back to Marion's office. You're just kind of like tinkering with stuff, having a good time. And now back to the action. Spider Batman, you are rocketing towards Professor Ishitako. What would you like to do first to attempt to catch Professor Ishitako?
I want to use my thwip grips to grab 2 of her mechanical arms.
Yeah, go ahead and rely on your skills and training for that one.
That's a 4.
A 4. Okay, so I'm going to set up another couple pools. One pool to catch Ishitako and one pool for Ishitako to escape. And with that full failure, I'm going to roll the Ishitako escapes pool. We're going to remove 2 of the 6 dice. So she's got 4 left to escape. You've got 6 left to catch her. So here's what I think this looks like. You shoot out your 2 thwip grips, but at the last moment, you see just out of nowhere from the sky in front of you, this hang glider comes down, this very janky looking hang glider that has a pair of sparrowkeet wings painted onto the top of it.
Yeah.
And your thwip grips miss Ishitako because suddenly this hang glider is right in front of you and you pull yourself into it. So now the 2 of you, kind of similar to when you were grappling the Pummeler's mech suit, you're kind of spiraling through the air, and you see you are face to face with this young lad wearing like a strip of cloth turned into a mask around his eyes, and he looks at you and says, "Fear not, Spider Batman, the Sparrowkeet has arrived to help you."
Oh my goodness.
What? I'm so confused. This is so dangerous. What are you doing here? Who are you?
I'm the Sparrowkeet. I'm your sidekick, and I'm going to help you save the day.
As I'm falling, I'm like, so many thoughts are going through my head, but obviously I'm saying them out loud. So I'm just like, what is this underage? I'm assuming underage superhero think he's doing. He's ruining my plan. I'm trying to stop the Pentapus, and now I have 2 more factors to think about of protecting. I have to protect him and the people. I don't know what.
Yeah, so you look up and you see Professor Pentapus is hearing this kerfuffle, and she rears back on her 5 mechanical legs and leaps to the next building over and starts like spider octopus crawling her way across the rooftops. What would you like to do?
I guess I want to use my whip grip to grapple on to another building so I can pull myself up and get a running start to glide closer to her.
All right, let's rely on your skills and training.
Okay, that's better. 10.
10. Okay, full success. So at this point, we're going to roll the Capture Ishitako pool, and we're going to remove 3 dice from that pool. So 3 dice left to catch her, 4 dice left for her to escape. What does it look like as you start to gain ground on Professor Ishitako?
Here is my my advertisement to play Arkham, the Arkham Asylum games play.
Yeah.
Arkham Knight specifically, where he actually has the grappling where he can literally grapple himself up and then just immediately launch him from that point and like shoot up in the air. That's what I'm doing.
All right. Yeah, so you grab onto one of the rooftops and just pull yourself at high speed. You land up on top of the rooftop, like you're on the edge closest to you, and you land there just as you see Ishitako getting to the far end, and she looks back at you and snarls, and she calls out, "You don't know what you're getting in the midst of, Spider Batman," and begins to launch herself towards the next rooftop. What would you like to do?
I yell, "I never do," and then I fly towards her.
All right.
Because I thought that was cooler in my head, as I said.
All right. Would you like to, let's see, at this point, let's start giving you some options so it's not just skills and training over and over and over again. I could see that potentially being trying to intimidate an NPC, or we could maybe have you push your luck. What do you feel like?
I'm going to push my luck.
All right. I'll say because you're doing this in an opportunity that could go a little bit more sticky for you, if you manage to fully succeed, we'll roll her pool twice to try and catch her. But if you fail, we'll roll your pool twice for her to try and escape.
Oh boy. All right, here we go.
So with passion.
A 5.
A 5. Okay, so we'll roll your pool twice to see if she escapes. We remove 3 of the dice. There's only 1 die left for her to escape, and we're going to roll it a second time.
Oh boy.
It's a 5. It stays in the pool.
Whew. Okay, we're still in the game. All right.
So you call out, "I never do!" And she just starts laughing uproariously at that. And you slam into, like, there's a little sort of banister on the edge of this rooftop, and you misjudge how tall it is, and you slam your face right into the side of this banister, and you scramble and you peer over the edge, and you see Ishitako is just like leaping from building to building very adroitly. She looks back at you, and as she's in the top of the arc of one of her leaps, she gives you a little salute with one of her human hands and disappears down into the alleyways below. What would you like to do next?
I guess now my superhero morality kicks in and I look, where's Sparrowkeep?
He is climbing back up that radio tower, the tallest building. He's just gotten to the top, and he's got his hang glider, and he's kind of like gearing himself up, and he leaps from the top of the radio tower in the direction of Pentapus.
How's he faring?
He has all of the luck and vigor that only youth can provide for somebody. He looks like he's doing just fine.
Okay, so he's not like gonna fall or anything.
Yeah, he is on actually a pretty straight trajectory right towards Pentapus.
I admire that for a second, and then I go and aim where Professor Pentapus escaped and try to see if I can deduce where she went.
All right. Do you want to assess the situation then, or just rely on your skills and training to get close to her?
I'm gonna rely on my skills and training.
Okay.
4.
4. Okay, so that would be another roll of the final die in her pool to escape. I will give you the opportunity if you want. You can mark 2 fatigue or a condition to not have to make this pool roll.
I'm gonna do a condition.
All right. How are you feeling in response to this really crazy situation you're in the middle of?
Well, I am not doing mentally well right now because, I mean, I am the only one dealing with all these problems, and now I just keep seeing Professor Pentapus getting away, and then Sparrowkeep has interrupted, and now I'm worried about another child's safety. So my mind's all over the place.
Yeah, I could see this going any number of ways. From a mechanical standpoint, would you say that you're feeling guilty, insecure, troubled?
I would say troubled.
All right, so we're going to mark troubled on your sheet. This gives you -2 to plead with an NPC and -2 to rely on your skills and training.
Okay, sounds good.
So yeah, at this point, I think pushing your luck is probably more in your favor than trying to rely on your skills and training now that you're troubled.
Okay, so pushing my luck.
Go for it.
I'm getting rid of this dice. 5.
Another 5. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to roll the Pentapus Escapes pool. That's a 4.
We're still good? Okay.
Yep, we're still good. But yeah, you like leap down and you are feeling just so out of sorts that you misjudge the edge of the nearest building and you start to slip down and you just slam face first down to the concrete below you. You lift up your head, and there are little sparrowkeets kind of circling around your head as you're dazed.
Yeah.
But you can see at this point, the sparrowkeet from above you slams into Professor Ishitako from above. The hang glider goes flying off to the side, and Ishitako and the sparrowkeet go tumbling to the ground. So he's actually got her kind of pinned down and like is putting her in a noogie, rubbing the top of her head with the knuckles of his other hand.
Oh my gosh.
So what would you like to do now?
Now I'm like inspired because I'm just like, wait, this kid is actually doing good? Wow, okay. I guess I want to assess the situation really quick.
All right. Roll plus creativity.
So that's a 7.
A 7. All right. You get one question from the list.
What here can I use to contain Professor Pentapus?
Yeah, you see that the alleyway you're in right now is full of dumpsters. If you can manage to get her into one of these dumpsters and like tie it down with your thwip grips, then you might be able to keep her contained.
Okay, well I want to use a thwip grip then to latch onto her and then run to the side of her to pull her into one of those.
All right.
Like run underneath her, I guess, if she's up in the air on her legs.
Yeah, let's have you push your luck, and you get a +1 to this roll, an extra +1 for your assess the situation.
That's a 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
Would you like to mark 2 fatigue or another condition to contest this roll?
I'm going to do 2 fatigue.
2 fatigue. All right.
I'm getting fatigued in real life, so we're doing this. 2 fatigued.
Yeah, Spider Batman is not having a great day. This kid, like, you throw out your thwip grip to try and grab Ishitako, but she sees you, and at the last moment, she pushes the sparrowkeet into the way, so you grab him and pull him into one of the dumpsters. He, like, hits into the lid, and like a backboard of a basketball hoop, he hits the raised lid, falls into the dumpster, and the lid slams down on top, and you hear him kind of mumbling from inside the dumpster. But Ishitako sees you, and she gets up on her legs, and she actually starts advancing towards you with malice in her eyes.
All right, I want to get out my boomerangs, and I'm going to throw them at her.
All right. So this seems like we are advancing and attacking. Roll with passion for that one.
That is a 7.
A 7. So this is a partial success. I'm going to roll both of these pools. We'll start with the Capture Ishitako pool, and we remove 2 dice from that pool. There's only 1 die left to capture Ishitako, and I'm going to roll the final die for Ishitako escapes. That's a 4, so we're both still in the game. We're down to 1 die each.
Okay.
Good heavens.
So yeah, she advances towards you, and she lifts up one of her mechanical arms and shoves it right towards your face, trying to pin you to the ground. But you use your thwip grips to deflect it out of the way. Like, you actually are able to kind of stick it to the wall on the far side.
Okay.
And now she's pulling on that, trying to release it from the wall. What would you like to do next?
I want to thwip grip her face to the wall.
All right. That sounds like advance and attack. Roll plus passion.
That is a 9.
A 9, partial success. So I'm going to start with her pool. That is a 3. So her pool has been completely depleted. And now I'm going to roll for your pool. That is a 5. So you have completely depleted Professor Pentapus's escape clock. What does it look like as you completely capture Professor Pentapus?
I just immediately just thwip grip her face to the wall, and it's now stuck right next to where her hand was stuck.
Yeah, she is mumbling. She's very disoriented. You continue just pinning her up against the wall, spray after spray from your thwip grips, just this weird, sticky, whatever it is material that Marion made for you, but it's working very, very well.
We don't question what's in the stuff. It's just working.
Yeah, until you finally have her completely immobilized against the wall, and you hear the skidding of tires, and you see Kimiko has just parked the pace car at the far side of this alleyway. Marion, do you want to be with Kimiko at this point?
Yeah, I'll be with Kimiko.
And so she starts rushing in. As she starts getting closer, you see her getting more excited, and she throws her arms around you, and she's just like, "Thank you, Spider Batman. Thank you so, so much."
All in a day's work, ma'am.
And Marion, what are you doing in this situation now?
Does she still have her metal pentapus arms on her?
She does.
Okay, I'm going to try and subtly metal bend one of those to cut at the web.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's have you rely on your skills and training.
That's 10.
10. All right.
Sounds so nice to be able to roll a 10.
So one of the arms manages to free itself, and it whips out and twirls around Kimiko's midsection and pulls her up to the wall against Professor Pentapus. And Kimiko is screaming and flailing.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
And you hear from Professor Pentapus,
What?
Unhand her, you fiend!
and at this point, Beifong also comes swinging in off of her cables that she's got, and she's got a couple other members of the police force with her. They get in there and are able to remove Kimiko from the situation, and Beifong looks at you, Spider-Batman, and says, I suppose my respect for you is a little bit more well-grounded now than it ever has been in the past.
Oh, good, we're, good, we're on the same page here. But first, and I go to the dumpster that Sparrow Keat is in, and I release it, and I'm like, here you go, son. And I put my hand in there to pull him out.
Yeah, and you see that his mask has become disheveled at this point, and you recognize the face of this young boy. That night that you tried to eavesdrop on Kimiko and Beifong, and you accidentally went in through that window of one of the other dormitories, and you gave this kid a little pin. You recognize, oh, yep, this is the kid.
Duly noted. Never give a child hope. I don't know. All right.
That's a good lesson to learn. Yeah, that's a good takeaway.
Good lessons.
Good lesson learned from that.
Yeah.
And I pull the kid out of the dumpster, and I just kind of clean him up, and everybody will be like, that was very dangerous what you just did, but I'm very appreciative of your skills being able to help me out, but I don't know if this is necessarily the line of work for you at this moment. Maybe when you get older.
But I did such a good job.
You did do such
Child, I'm going to approach and ruin their moment. Child, I have something you can be doing with your time that's even better than fighting crime. I have a cup ball. I'm going to give it to him.
Oh, like a kendama thing?
Yeah. It's like a little stick with a cup and a ball on a string. Here you go, child. Don't fight criminals. Play with this.
Yeah, he reaches out and he grabs it and he looks at it a little bit forlornly, and then he looks and he sees the cops and he freaks out and he starts running away down the alley.
Well, Spider-Batman, another day saved by us.
Yes. I'm very curious how she got out of that thwip grip, though. Like, I mean, I really thought that we had her pinned down pretty good. Your technology was working so well, and then all of a sudden
Hey, man, it's a new science, so you never know what could go wrong. But that's why we test things in the field like this.
Good point.
I'm just glad, I'm actually really glad Kimiko wasn't hurt. That could have been a lot worse.
Yes,
But
I agree. But thank you for all your help and your tools and able to help me fight crime.
yeah, anytime.
Yeah, wouldn't have been able to do this without you.
This has been great. I gotta go check on my tea roommate. She can get into things if I'm not around for very long, so.
I feel my head a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, speaking of tea roommate, Grandma Halmeoni, let's have you work on your voice synthesizer a little bit.
Why not? I should do something this episode, right?
Right?
What do I even roll for that?
Roll for voice synthesizer?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a stat.
Voice synthesizer creation is a specific skill in this game.
Yeah.
The dice say 11. I don't know what to add to that, but I got 11.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is, regardless of what you add to that, that is going to be a success. So we're going to mark off 2 more ticks. You're currently at 4 out of 6 on your voice synthesizer here. You know, I will also offer you, if you want to try and get it done quicker, we could maybe have you mark some fatigue to add to some of those ticks there.
I'm currently at 2 fatigue. I feel like at some point I should have rested that off.
Yeah, you probably should have.
How about instead of doing this faster, I take a good nap?
Okay, you take a little nap, and as you are sleeping...
Is she sleeping or is she staping?
Yeah, we'll have you remove a fatigue for this nice little nap that you're taking here. And you are interrupted from your sleep by the sound of a ringing telephone coming from Kimiko's office.
I'll go answer it. Hello?
Yeah, you pick it up and you hear the voice on the other side. Like, it doesn't say anything for a moment as it hears your voice, but eventually you hear the voice say, "It appears that Ishitako has not managed to stop Kimiko as we had planned."
Okay. I'll keep an eye on Ishitako, I guess. Do you have the right number?
Do you know who I am?
No, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, dearie.
You are going to know who I am. Don't you worry.
Wait a minute, I recognize your voice. Are you Gazal Rule?
You are an observant old woman, yes.
I am old and a woman. All right. Well, I've got a message for you, buddy. You knock it off, or I'm gonna come down there and I'm gonna grab your ear and I'm gonna take you to your parents.
So you are saying that you can bring the dead back to the realm of the living?
I've been known to dabble in necromancy.
On accident.
Well, a surprising old spirit, aren't you?
Who said I was a spirit? I'm an old woman.
Yes, an old woman and nothing more.
Correct.
I am sure of that.
I'm glad we agree on me being an old woman.
He's buying it.
I'm gonna internal monologue out loud. He's buying it.
Well, I'm going to have to go adjust my plans a little bit.
Well, hold on a moment. I want you to knock off what you're doing. I want to just clarify something real quick. I'm stalling. I hope someone's going to be coming through this door soon that I can, like, track the number, you know? But
Yeah, roll to trick an NPC.
man, I've rolled twice today. I got an 11 both times.
Yeah, booyah.
Plus the creativity, I think, is a 13.
Dang.
You want to roll from me from now on?
Got it, man.
So you get to pick 2 from the list. He stumbles, take +1 forward acting against him. He acts foolishly, I tell you an additional opportunity, or he overcommits and is deceived for some time.
I feel like this isn't the kind of guy I can trick just off the cuff, so I'm going to go for the other 2. The +1 to acting against them and additional opportunities.
All right. So yeah, you continue talking to him. What's your awesome line that keeps him here instead of disappearing into the ether?
I am personal friends with Tokuga.
Oh.
And he does pause at that and says, "Well, can I interest you perhaps in joining our organization then, if you are friends with one of our allies?"
Oh, you'd probably ask all the old ladies that.
You see right through me. I am a charmer, if nothing else.
Oh, I'll say, you sound handsome. Perhaps you and I should meet up sometime.
Perhaps.
Do you, I don't know, do you live in Republic City? Perhaps you have an address?
I do, but it would not be beneficial to give out my personal living quarters, but I live closer than you might expect.
Oh, how exciting. I love a man of mystery. Perhaps you and I could meet up at the Gimbop stand.
Near the air nomad portion of Varrick World?
Oh yes, you know it?
I know it well.
Well, what are you doing later? I'm not busy this evening.
Well, I'm going to the Gimbop stand near the air nomad portion of Varrick World later.
Perhaps I will too.
Oh my god.
I'll be the older woman.
Sounds like a plan.
The moves are working.
See you later, big man.
Not if I see you first. And the line goes dead.
Change that song to the moves like Halmeoni.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
You're so in.
Where is everybody? I can't do this alone.
Sounds like boiling water. What is going on in here?
I have a date with Gazelle Rule in about an hour.
What?
At this point, I'm Chen. At this point, I'm just like, wait, what?
I panicked. He was on the phone. He was talking about Pentapus and Kimiko. We gotta keep Kimiko safe. Where is she?
I mean, she's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was easier than I thought. I didn't know if she'd been kidnapped because she said something about Pentapus. It was a whole thing. Anywho, I have a date.
You have a date with
Do you have nice clothes?
Well, I don't. Kimiko probably does.
I only have your clothes, Marion.
Yeah, they're not date clothes.
Oh, come on. Yes, we don't want you looking like Marion. No offense, Marion.
None taken.
You should wash your hair.
Hey, now it's taken.
Is this the first time Kimiko's addressed me?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but are we more worried about what she's gonna look like for the date and not the fact that she's going out with Gazelle Rule?
I panicked. I didn't know what to do.
Now, listen,
She wants to make a good impression.
Listen, I've never seen this woman before in my life, but obviously this woman needs a feminine touch right now.
Yeah.
So, I can share some of my wardrobe with you if you're interested.
Oh, we're way past this. Kimiko, I'm a tea spirit that's been living in this shop for a while. Don't freak out. I'm in a mech suit. I'm gonna pour myself out.
Oh.
It's super normal for us around here, so don't worry about it. But you deserve the truth.
I'm gonna make a fortune roll for her real quick. She passes out.
Oh.
Awesome. She's not using her clothes. Get into her wardrobe.
And then I just immediately go beet red, and I'm just like, what?
Stay out. I'm going in. I'll go into her office that she also sleeps in. Does she have a nice dress?
I'm going to roll for that. She has a very nice dress.
She's unconscious, so I'm going to assume that she would be okay with me borrowing a dress.
Probably. She seemed pretty gung-ho about it. I'm gonna put a pillow under her head, because she's on the floor.
Excellent work, boys. Now here's the deal. Gazalru wants me to join him now because I told him I was friends with that spirit.
Oh.
I panicked. I gotta tell you, I don't do well under pressure.
This is actually perfect. I'm thinking, what's that over there? And then I run away, run out, and then I come back as Spider-Batman.
Crazy.
I mean, at what point do we roll to see if we notice that it's Spider-Batman?
Well, I mean, Marion already knows.
Yeah, I didn't need to roll for that. He's kind of told us several different ways.
I've been assuming that I have no idea.
We could have you assess the situation if you're interested in trying to make that connection now.
I'm not.
Cool.
Spider-Batman comes in and it's just like,
Spider-Batman!
yeah, that generous lad who just walked by said something about you having a date with Gazalru.
I do.
I think that this is a good time to trap him.
Trap him.
It's a little rude. It's a first date.
That's more of like a second or third date kind of.
But no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. We should.
He's a criminal who's trying to take down Republic City and even worse, Varrick World.
No, it's a whole thing.
So,
I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
I'm not faulting you. I'm actually praising you and thinking that we need you to go on this date.
No.
But I'm going to be there too.
You're gonna be there too.
I'm going to be hiding. You're never going to know where I'm at.
Oh.
No one ever knows where I'm at.
Hide really good, because this guy may be one of the most dangerous men alive. So hide very good, please. I'm not going. I don't want to be near that.
Marion, do you think you could supply me with any new technology for this? This could be the pivotal moment of my career as a superhero.
Well, I do have one idea. I'm going to go to my desk, and from out of a drawer, I'm going to try and supply what is like a lapel mic, and have a couple different receptors for that, so that when and if this date happens, Spider-Bat / myself can hear what's going on. We can't say things, but we can hear things. I don't know if that's been invented. I think it has.
Like a bug or a spider.
Like a radio. I mean, just a simple radio.
Oh,
but there's
yeah.
no receptor, so there's less of a chance of getting caught.
Neat.
Let's have you rely on your skills and training to invent some bugs.
Booyah. Okay, 10.
All right, yeah. You've got this one-way audio transmission system set up.
I pick one up and I look at it and I say, I'm going to call this a spider bite.
Wow.
I like it. I'm going to call this a bugged microphone, and I'm just going to put it on, like, I don't know. Do you have any panels or, like, internal bits and bobs I can just drop this in?
I just want to keep, I just feel like I should keep a couple of my utility belts so I can just flick them when I need to bug someone.
Yeah, we'll make more.
We're going to call them Bite, though. I'm trademarking that branding, Spider Bite.
Okay, well, I put this little receptor on Grandma Halmeoni's person and say, you look beautiful. Can't wait to hear how it goes.
Oh, thank you.
Enjoy dinner with the most terrifying man alive.
I am not happy. To be clear.
I wouldn't be either.
This is really bad. I didn't want to go on a date. I just was trying to stall, and then everything got out of my control.
You're too charismatic, I guess.
I didn't mean to.
Sorry.
Oh, whatever. It's time to go. Let's go. We're gonna figure it out. I should note my discontent. I'm gonna run out.
Wait.
Note my discontent. All right, so as Grandma Halmeoni heads off for a date with Ghazal Rule, the man who's trying to destroy the governments of the world and replace them with his own totalitarian regime, I think that is where we're going to pick up next time.
Oh my.
Oh boy.
Whew. Tangled webs. Tangled webs.
They do be a tangling.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining us here for this episode of ImpTab Avatar. We'll be back next time with more adventures in the world of Varrick World. If you want more, go and subscribe, maybe even give us a review. We would be as happy as a young child who got told by Spider-Batman that he did a good job and completely ignored the fact that Spider-Batman did not want him to be there if you go ahead and give us a review on the podcatcher of your choice. We're also all over social media at Improv Tabletop, so if you'd like to connect with us there, maybe you want to talk with Thomas about how he feels about his date with Ghazal Rule. Don't be afraid to reach out.
Quite awful.
Super bad.
There's a spoiler for you. That's how the conversation is going to go.
Yeah.
Now it's time to shout out our next batch of Sticker Club patrons.
All right.
And the people we're shouting out this week are Eric Jordan Phillips, James Walker, and Jim Packard.
Incredible. Let's go.
These are the three people who are starting to work on reverse engineering Professor Ishitako's Pentapus arms to figure out the technology they're in and maybe figure out how it can be used for good instead of for evil.
Ooh la la la.
Which I guess technically means you're coworkers with Kimiko, so that's pretty cool.
Heyo.
We will have more Sticker Club patrons to shout out next week, and if you, dear listener, want to join their ranks, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/improvtabletop, where you can also get things like Discord access, biennial sticker packs, and more, such as our current ongoing patron-exclusive campaign, Miceborn, the Mouse Ritter Chronicles.
Ooh.
A squeak.
Squeak, squeak.
Squeak, squeak. Listeners, you can't see this, but I'm very distracted by what Thomas is doing with his face right now.
I have that kind of face, yeah.
He just looks like that, I think.
I was gonna say the funny thing is he's not doing anything different. It's just
I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, listeners, enjoy imagining what that looks like, and enjoy imagining yourself listening to Miceborn, the Mouse Ritter Chronicles, which you can access at our lowest patron tier. The least amount of donation you give to us will give you access to all of those new stories, and will help us to continue to produce this awesome show that we love so much.
Squeak, squeak.
Squeak, squeak. Squeak, squeak, squeakin'. Squeak, squeaker, squeak, squeakin'. I went to chipmunk camp. Is that what it was?
It's Squirrel
Emperor's New Groove?
Scouts. I think it's Squirrel Scouts.
Squirrel Scouts. Yeah, squeak, squeaker, squeak, squeakin'.
Yeah, squeaking.
did you eat my acorn?
Well, now let's do a round of plugs. Thomas, would you like to take that this time
I'd
around?
love to. Everyone, thank you for listening. If you want more, highly recommend our sister podcast, I Cast Fireball, D&D 5e actual play. Quick question, by the way. Are you guys going to switch to the new edition when it's like officially released?
Good question.
I have pre-ordered my copy of the 2024 Player's Handbook, and Thomas and I are going to go on a deep dive. We're going to weigh the merits of switching over, and there is a chance that we might be switching over. We'll just have to see how we feel about it.
Cool.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Either way, regardless of the edition, the show is great. Highly recommend it. Some excellent character moments. Just go watch it, or listen to it. You can't watch it, but you know what I meant. I'd also like to plug being a freak. If you can get a little weird in your life, hit it up, baby.
Get nasty with it.
Yeah, if anybody can match Thomas's freak, then I don't want to meet you.
And there's also a superhero that I'm pretty sure is one of Ned's favorite superheroes, Freakazoid, right?
Freakazoid.
That is an established superhero.
He rules.
It's a good freak. It's my favorite superhero, JP. That is correct. My heart is touched that you would remember that detail.
Oh, it's a good show. That was my generation, the early 90s.
It's so good.
What a time to be alive. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us here in the world of Imp Tab Avatar, Varrick World. I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and I've been joined by...
Connor Wood, Castle Crasher.
Justin Porter, aka JP, and I am going to get rid of every single dice in my apartment and buy some new ones.
Thomas Ryan, currently rolling 2d6, and I got a 8.
Ah,
I mean, that's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, very average.
not bad.
I mean,
This one will be a 12, you weasel. All right, it was a 7, but you know what I meant.
That's a nat 20. You got a nat 20 on those 2D.
You got a nat 20 on
yes,
2d6s.
a nat 20. Killed it.
Yes. Much love and stuff, everybody. We'll catch you next time on Imp Tab Avatar.
I'm going to launch him into the air using airbending. Just a pillar of...
airbending, you say?
yes, airbending. No, using earthbending.
What a secret.
I was going to say, what?
Surprise!
Surprise! I'm the Avatar!
Korra's dead. I'm the Avatar now.
Yeah.